What's up guys, and welcome to the second video here on Brilliant Business Basics, where in today's video we'll be discussing the approach to leadership and management. And in today's content we'll focus on the importance of leadership and management. Which one would you choose between those two? So we'll go through the theories that will explore leadership and the theories that will define management. In addition to that, and finally, we'll be discussing the key differences between both leadership and management. So stay tuned. The nature of many organizations has been evolving throughout the past decades and generations. With the bright innovations and the new developments, there is still a backbone that holds every organization together. Or in other cases, there are three important pillars that not only hold the organization together, but also hold its people, its clients, and even their employees. Those three pillars are considered to be leadership, management, and most importantly, teamwork. Each one of those aspects holds a special incentive to make the organization better every single day. An organization cannot live without a great manager, or an effective leadership style, or even a team of employees who aren't able to communicate and collaborate with each other. Therefore, the nature that revolves around those three pillars are vital to keep the business not only alive but also to make it successful. The effectiveness of leadership, management, and teamwork will further be discussed. However, the focus will not only be on what they bring individually, but also on the charisma and dynamics of those pillars combining with each other to produce the best output and the most efficient results needed. At the foundation of a company's organizational structure is its mission. Management, leadership, and teamwork help lie within that shared interest of supporting its mission and the long-term vision for every company, in addition to the alignment of aims, objectives, and the tactics, as you saw in the first video. So, leadership. What is leadership? Leadership is the skill of getting things done through other people by inspiring them, influencing them, and invigorating them. A good leader helps set out a direction for an organization that all the employees could follow and help align them together. Being a leader does not necessarily mean that everyone must learn being a leader. It's a skill set that not everyone can exploit. Leadership can be identified within its natural charisma and its presence, whom most role models have that influence on our generations today. You probably know many influential leaders of today. Leaders such as Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, who is currently worth $110 billion. Leaders such as Sir Richard Branson, who founded the Virgin Group in the 1970s and is currently worth $4.2 billion. And you should know Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon and is currently the richest man in the world with a net worth sitting at $166.3 billion. And do you know what those three have in common? Those leaders have the ability to influence other people with their actions, which makes them both great and successful. A theory that we can use to demonstrate an effective style of leadership was developed by John Adair in 1979, where he focused on the idea of having an action-centered leadership that revolves around the task, the individuals, and team maintenance. And by maintaining those three assets, by then you can only influence the people around you. He believed that the ideal position to reach for an organization was when the three areas achieved complete integration. Teams tend to be a mirror image of their leaders. The form of management and style of leadership adopted will influence the relationship between the group and the organization are the major determinants of group cohesiveness. The leadership styles adopted by a business have a direct effect on the levels of morale, commitment, and competence in the workplace. In turn, this affects the productivity and profitability of the organization. Therefore, we can say that one area cannot work without the other, and losing one area does have a direct effect on the outcome of the other. The three skills proposed by John Adair act like complements of each other to meet a balance point where all the goals set by an organization are achieved, which should include a leader that travels well over his team of staff. As you can see in this slide, it's totally dedicated to the theory of situational leadership, which refers to the belief that there is no single leadership style that suits all the situations. The best style is the one that depends on situational factors, such as attitudes, behavior, and competencies of managers and workers. This idea was developed by a theory from Hersey and Blanchards that was created in 1969 with follower readiness. The theory is divided into four sectors, as you can see, which are labeled as telling, selling, participating, and delegating, in alignment, of course, with both task behavior and relationship behavior. Task behavior is basically the extent to which the leader directs the follower behavior, instructs them in what to do and how to do it, sets goals for them, imposes deadlines, and controls them. Alternatively, relationship behavior is the extent to which the leader engages in the dialogue. He consults, he listens, and he encourages action. The theory of situational leadership puts emphasis on the circumstances as the major variable in determining leadership behavior in keeping with behavior patterns of the leader. Each sector describes how the task is given in correlation with the relationship between a worker and his leader. By seeking to only telling, which is the first phase of the theory, it indicates that the worker is unwilling and unable, and feeling insecure about completing the task. This is due to the extreme supervision and specific instructions designed by the employer. Thus, the following would add a tremendous amount of pressure on the employee if orders and guidance are all there is to the task. In contrast with telling comes delegating, which is the optimal task level anyone could ever reach for. By delegating, it allows the leader or the manager to turn over their responsibilities to their staff, leading them to feel special and motivated to complete the task with higher levels of enthusiasm and confidence. Delegation and empowerment also free up time for both leaders and managers to fulfill other strategic responsibilities. Therefore, delegation helps to get the job done faster, in addition to bonding with your fellow colleagues. Sections 2 and 3, however, provide more of a middle ground where there is a good amount of relationship between employees and their leader depending on the situation present, which we should remember they are labeled as selling and participating. If I were to personally comment on the two theories implemented, I would lean more towards the Hersey and Blanchards style of leadership, because if I were a leader someday, that's what I would do. And that is because the theory of situational leadership is more focused on multiple aspects that influence employees daily in relation to a specific scenario. On the other hand, Adairs Theory relies on the dependency of those three skills, which are task, individuals, and team maintenance, to integrate with each other to find that stable balance point, which to me reflects discontinuity. In comparison, Hersey and Blanchards theory can be more effective in the long term than with Adairs, as it implies a greater range of flexibility and can apply to more than one leadership style. On the other side of leadership, we find management. And what is management? Management is the practice of achieving an organization's objectives by effectively using and controlling the available human and non-human resources of the business. Management is essentially about problem solving and decision making. Therefore, it would involve a process of planning, organizing, and coordinating human resources to achieve organizational objectives. And basically, these are the key functions of management. As for the theories we aim to explore, we will be exploring the theory of Ash's Golden Rule that was developed in 1985. And secondly, we'll be going into Douglas McGregor's theories X and Y that was developed in 1960. The ways to approach management are numerous. However, the theory of Ash's Golden Rule that was developed in 1985 seems to apply brilliantly on the key definition of management. It focuses to adopt several roles other than just being a manager, as it shows that the person in charge cares about his staff. This is further illustrated when Ash claimed that people should be treated fairly according to their effort, in addition to making your people feel more important. And that is done through countless approaches such as motivating them, giving them praise, and encouraging constant feedback, as it boosts morale and confidence. Furthermore, she focuses on the fact that employees should learn what they might have done wrong. In real-life organizations, the main search for an employee is to see that he is valuable to the company, and this is when Ash claims good managers should follow the sandwich approach. The sandwich approach basically highlights two main streams of praise, but between them is a critique opinion to give to the worker's job in terms of what he should do better. Giving a balance of opinions is the main extract from this approach. It is used by managers to help boost their employees' confidence and experience, in addition to building up a strong, sharp-minded workforce that is open to criticism as long as it is followed by what they should be acknowledged for. This is the whole basis of Ash's sandwich approach. Another theory that takes a slightly different approach than Ash's theory is McGregor's. Douglas McGregor's managerial pursuit of theory X and Y in 1960 leans more towards a situational approach towards subordinates. He defined X people to be the ones that were lazy and the ones who may dislike doing work and responsibility. Therefore, the approach he suggested for them was for the manager to be more manipulative when he would engage with their behavior. That implied that managers should increase hours of supervision for people from X to complete their tasks. On the other hand, the Y people are the hardworking subordinates. They are the employees who value their work, who put a lot of effort in what they do, and who are constantly motivated, thrived, and also driven. The critique with McGregor's theory, though, was that it didn't take several aspects into account, such as employees' welfare, long-term employment, and collective consensus decision-making, in addition to other types of control which were then discovered by the style of management developed in 1981 by Dr. William Ouchi. Ouchi was highly critical of McGregor's approach to this type of situation, and he claimed that there were more than only two types of people in the workplace, which led him to implement Theory Z, which mainly highlights the feature that could be more adaptable to any style of a subordinate, yet considering other factors that value their place within an organization, which is the main driven focus that organizations in real life strive to achieve. Thus, this keeps employees motivated, more focused, and mentally stable, which reduces the chances of potential labor turnover. Good managers today don't need to have the most experience or years of work, but the good managers are the ones who understand the culture they're involved in and the ones who anticipate the needs of their team and guide them to their desired goals. The reason behind the appointment of any new manager in the world is to possibly bring unity and power to the team again. The role of the manager can also be portrayed as their leader and an influencer, which supports the whole basis of Ash's and Ouchi's quotes, where acting as leader in a role of a manager can usher greater results that reach to the limits of teamwork and cooperation. So, what are the key differences between management and leadership? First of all, time and devotion. Management is often described as a 9-to-5 job, whereas leadership is about being responsible 24 hours each day. There is a portrayed view that managers have a short-term view, whereas leaders have much longer-term perspective. Secondly, roles and responsibilities. Leaders are generally accountable for a much broader range of roles and responsibilities. They deal with the what and why questions. Hence, leaders are more of the innovative thinkers. Steve Jobs constantly reminded his staff at Apple that they were changing the world. By contrast, managers deal with the routine how and when questions. They administer the day-to-day operations of a business. Third, the influence on others. Instructions and orders from managers are listened to because they come from an official position of authority. Leaders, however, inspire and motivate their followers through action. They focus on people rather than concentrating on tasks. And finally, the vision, the ultimate separator. The vision that leaders have is what ultimately separates them from their managers. Leaders create a culture of hope, getting people to where they have not been before, whereas managers abide by the procedures and the culture of an organization. Managers can do well in a stable business environment, but leaders are the ones who shine during the times of change. Despite their obvious differences, both leadership and management are essential for a business to be successful. It is possible for a manager to be a leader, and for a leader to be a manager. They provide different attributes, but if you join them together, they could form a very desirable trait. And here is the final point of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Drop down a comment below to let me know which theories you enjoyed the most during the video, and whether you're going to be a manager or a leader, or even combining those skills together to form that desirable trait. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, Brilliant Business Basics, and I'll see you all in the next one.